Good morning, friends, and welcome to the pre-market view. US markets were marginally down, and the budget deficit for the first quarter came in at about $98 billion. And Apple also is going to launch a new iPhone in September, and we've seen this Apple stock price actually remaining quite resilient in the past few trading sessions. European markets were also marginally up about 0.25 to almost about 0.5%, and we had a much better GDP data coming out from Greece, which was better than market expectations. So even the Greece market was up sharply. And when we look at the Asian markets today morning, Nikkei is up almost about 1.4%. Hang Seng is also up 0.3%. Some of the smaller Asian markets are marginally down, and SGX Nifty is suggesting that we are going to open up with a positive tick of almost about 8 points, about 5608 or thereabouts. In terms of flows, FIs were net buyers in the cash market to the tune of about 359 odd crore. The domestic institutions were also buyers to the tune of about 214 crore, and in the index futures, the FIs were buyers to the tune of 101 crore. Also, the talking point of yesterday's market was the rupee, which was down to almost about 61.28, despite the kind of steps that the RBI is taking, and the finance ministry also unveiled a host of measures including import duty cuts, import duty on gold, silver, television sets, luxury cars, so on and so forth. And also they are looking at allowing the public sector units to borrow funds from the overseas markets to actually finance the entire current account deficit to a large extent. But despite these measures, the rupee refused to budge, and it actually closed at the lowest point of the day. In terms of the action in yesterday's market, we had seen a fairly good action in the IT pack, HCL Tech, Infosys, TCS, Tech, Mahindra, all of them were smartly up about 2 to 3%. And also in the metal pack like Tata Steel, Hindalco, Sterlite, we had seen a major action because of the better Chinese data and the expectation of a better set of numbers from some of the companies which would be announcing numbers. On that note, let me invite Shaival to take us through important F&O cues, data and strategies that we can have in the F&O markets.
Good morning, friends. Let's have a view at derivatives. Friends, we have been seeing that from levels of 5,500 market has taken support and has bounced back very sharply. Now, in yesterday's trade, we have seen that markets have managed to close above the mark of 5,600 levels. But what we have seen is that some long positions were squared off by market participants ahead of the IIP numbers, which were to be released late evening yesterday. And we have also seen some activity happening on the put side compared to that of call side, because of which the PCR ratio has jumped to 0.98. Now, talking about the options matrix, friends, it's clearly visible that the activity is widespread on the put side. Even in the money strike prices having good amount of activity on the put side. Whereas on the call side, there are two strikes which have seen good amount of activity taking place in terms of open interest, that is 5,800 and 900. Whereas till 5,200 on the lower side, continuous addition has been taking place on the put side, as markets are expecting bad IIP numbers and expecting high inflation. Now, as implied volatility has shot up by around say 1 to 5%, and we have also seen that the activity is widespread on the options front, that itself is indicating that market may continue to remain volatile in coming trading sessions. And from intraday perspective, one can go long on idea with stop loss of 161 rupees 65 paisa. Thank you.
Here are the important news and events that we are tracking today. First of all, the companies which will be announcing numbers. Tata Steel consolidated net profit that we are looking at is about 305 crore, and on a standalone basis, the net profit that we are looking at is about 1250 crore. Mahindra net profit that we are looking at is about 848 crore. The buzz is that the actual number could be a little better than expectations. Hindalco, we are looking at a net profit of 326 crore. Bharat Petroleum 179 crore, and Oil India about 793 crore. IIP for the month of July came in at much lower than the market expectations of about 1.1%. The actual IIP was minus 2.2%. Particularly the consumer durables and the capital goods are the sectors where there is a definite negative momentum. And the foreign trade data which came out yesterday was better than market expectations, and the actual trade deficit came in at about $12.2 billion. wherein we had seen a 11.6% growth in the export and the imports actually declined by 6.2%. So it remains to be seen how much relief would this give to the rupee, which has been going under pressure for a long time. In terms of corporate development, Mahindra Mahindra's overseas subsidiary Sangyong, which is based in Korea, reported profit after 6 years, and the Q2 profit that they reported was much better, and the growth was about 26%. So this could have a positive rub-off on Mahindra, which is going to be announcing their numbers. And in terms of other development, ICICI Bank is set to sell the residential building in the central Mumbai at about 100 crore rupees. Tech Mahindra reported extremely good set of numbers, and their profit grew by almost 27% on a YOY basis. Even on a quarter-on-quarter basis, the numbers that they reported were much better than expectations. So one can go long on Tech Mahindra, as we've seen some of the upgrades by the research houses for the next 1 or 2 years. So one can go long with a stop loss of 1241 and a target of about 1304 to about 1328. ONGC, though the numbers were weak, the company is looking at doing some kind of a deal with ConocoPhillips and Shell for selling a stake in the KG Basin Deep Sea block, which is definitely a bit of a relief for ONGC. So one can go long there with a stop loss of 272 and a target of about 286 to about 292. Sterlite, finally the court's amalgamation approval has come in, and one can go long there with a stop loss of about 77 and a target of about 82. That's it from all of us, friends. Have a good trading session and see you tomorrow at the same time.